Hi friends! This is going to be a reading for what kind of energies or what you can just generally expect to happen in the next week before the solar eclipse on Saturday. The energy is likely going to be quite intense because solar eclipses really are these deep changes and they're not always voluntary. We kind of get things pulled from underneath us. Foundations that we've built kind of get ripped open, crumble, so that we can make space for new beginnings. And some of you are working on some projects, some new projects, new ideas, and it might be taking a little bit longer than you had anticipated, and that's okay. That's part of the process. Spirit just wants you to know to keep going and to keep remembering the light that you bring into this world, and to fall in love with the process, because big ideas like this can often take time, and it is a process. It's not just going to happen like that. So just a little reminder, but let's see. What can you expect over this week leading up to the solar eclipse? It might be very intense and a little scattered, but let's see. What can you expect? 3 of Cups. Oh, King of Swords. Justice, Knight of Cups, and the Empress. Oh, and bottom of the deck, 10 of voices in this deck, but 10 of Swords. So there is a closing of a cycle happening at the end of this week, right leading up to the solar eclipse, and really interesting because it fits really well with this theme of this new moon coming in, solar eclipse, because it's really going to close a cycle that you're working on right now. And with the 10 of Swords, this cycle ending will not be pain-free. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be uncomfortable. And so be ready for that. Be prepared for things to kind of start shedding. Be prepared for things to start closing and for you to be releasing. There's a general sense of needing to stay connected to the people around you. The 3 of Cups is our community and our closest friends. And I think that this feels like a reminder to stay connected during this time, because we will all be going through this kind of closing of cycles that aren't easy, and having our foundations ripped from underneath us. And we need to make sure that we're still staying connected, that we know that we're there for each other, and that we're all kind of going through this as a collective. I think this is a reminder of that. And that we're stronger than we think we are, that we are ready for the next level, for whatever is going to come in during this time, for whatever. The solar eclipse is going to be so intense. I can feel the energy. There's going to be a lot thrown at us during this time, and it might feel like we can't do this. Like it might feel very overwhelming, and Spirit's reminding us that we are so strong and that we are ready for this next level of enlightenment, that we are ready to move forward, and that we're ready to accept what's meant for us and that next level of moving forward, which is really beautiful. That's a really, really kind of comforting aspect to this, because it is going to be very intense. And then we have the Justice card that came out. So things will be balancing out. They might be a bit rough before this happens. So keep that in mind. It's not going to be, we're not going to start off the week fully balanced. This is something that's going to happen after the fact. Once we actually shed the shadows, once we start releasing and letting those foundations crumble that weren't as stable as we thought they were, to allow these new flows to come in, then we have justice and balance. And for some of us, this is actually can mean something with like karma, like that once we release these old habits and these old thought processes and this like victimization, this like victim mode, and we start releasing and forgiving people for what happened, there will be justice served, and that knowing that people will get their karma. And then we have the Knight of Emotions. So it is going to be quite overwhelming. There's going to be a lot thrown at us, specifically in the realm of like feelings, emotions, new information trying to get through during this time. Things that like we've never thought of are going to try to come through during this time. So we have to make sure that we're open to this, because it is reversed, and so there might be a little bit of a blockage of this during this time. And I think that this feels also like a reminder to stay connected with loved ones and ensure that we are fostering that connection with our friends and family, because it will be essential as we move through this week. And the last card, amazing, the Empress. And so by the end of this week, there will be these new beginnings, these new opportunities, these new ideas. The universe, spirit, whatever, the higher power, whatever you believe, wants us to come out of this week with new mentalities and new beginnings, and wanting to like move through these new ideas. And that is amazing. It's going to take some work to move through this as the solar eclipse approaches and we start feeling uncomfortable, overwhelmed, stressed, all of these sort of like negative patterns kind of coming out to the surface and being ripped under us. We're going to be feeling a lot. And so keep that in mind, that we just have to move through this and let it flow through us so that we can move forward and get to this Empress energy, this boss ass energy, and closing out this cycle that is no longer serving us. And it will likely be painful, but that's okay. We just have to keep that in mind, right? And to know that it's for these fresh, new beginnings, new ideas, new plans, new projects, new career paths, just new. So get ready, because change is coming. And I hope this is helpful. Stay connected with your closest loved ones, your closest communities, people that understand you and that you can really talk to and be truthful about it. Stay connected in that, and know that you are strong enough to move through this and get to that Empress energy, and that things will balance out. We just have to go, what is that saying? It's going to get harder before it gets easier. We just have to move through these harder parts right now as the solar eclipse approaches and tries to get us to shed and rip our foundations from underneath us so that we can start anew. Trust that this is a new beginning for you and that it will serve you and that you're ending a cycle. I'll be posting more about the solar eclipse throughout the week, so stay tuned. And yeah, love you guys.